What up, Dynasty players in the house? It's the Dynasty front office. I'm your host, Jesse Schneeman. We are part of the Dynasty Warzone Network. I'll say those words in any order I want. Tonight, we have running back rankings, rookie running back rankings. Austin finally is letting us do it. Thanks, Austin. I appreciate it. The
Yeah,
auspicious Austin Bell.
I figured we waited as long as we could, and it's really because I can't decide still. I'm sitting here looking at my rankings and like, I kind of want to change this, so that's really the problem. There's just too many good ones, but I can't push it off any longer because guess what? The draft is literally a week from tonight. So this is amazing.
Yeah, man. I really feel like we're just stupid right now. We're gonna look at ourselves in a week from now, a week and 2 days from now, and we'll be like, man, those guys were so dumb. Those
Oh,
guys
I
didn't
think that every
know.
day.
Those guys didn't know Devin Neal was going to KC or whatever happens. You know what I mean?
hmm
Some of these guys are going to get pushed up by landing spots. Some of them are going to get pushed down because they're blocked. So there's only so many jobs. There's way more running backs in this draft than there are jobs. That's my biggest concern.
Very true. But it could do the opposite. It could push a lot of these veteran running backs out of a job.
That's true too. I find that hard to do. I mean, like the mid-level guys for sure, but like obviously the Mixon Camaro level guys, definitely not.
I mean, it could take work away from him. It wouldn't
It
shock me if
could take
the
work.
right guy goes and Mixon's not seeing 25 touches at all.
Running backs were unusually healthy last year, so
It's very true.
it's good that we're getting this influx because it's going to overcorrect the other way this year now. All right, so time to hand this off to our real host for the evening, Professor Major Mike Casper. You're going to run the show. Austin and I are going to battle it out with our rankings. How are you tonight, Mike?
I'm doing great. You're going to hear a screaming baby probably in the background once or twice, so I'm going to try to mute myself to prevent that. But yeah, we got birth control going on tonight. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Woo. All right.
All right, just assure us that nothing horrible is happening to those children. We'll be fine.
Nothing horrible is happening. It's probably something like she can't go to bed with her shoes on, or she doesn't want to change her diaper, or she will wear the same dress that she's been wearing for the past 3 days. So
Nice.
not fun. Nothing too crazy there. But yeah, let's dive right in. Unless you guys have any objections, you guys just ready to get into some tears and talk it out?
Yeah, this is going to take so long that I think
this is going to be a long episode.
Pretty much devote the entire show to it. So yeah, let's just jump in.
All right,
let's start with Nathan's question. That's kind of the very first good way to start with the class, in my opinion.
So his question is, how many RB1 potentials do we have in the class? I'm assuming Dynasty RB1s. So what do you think there, Austin?
I feel pretty comfortable with the number 4, but you could make an argument to see. I mean, realistically, man, you make an argument for 9 or 10 guys that if the right path goes, like you absolutely could see. Like I'm not a Caleb Johnson guy, but if he goes to an outside zone system that has a good run blocking scheme, he's an RB1 this year. So like. I'm anti Caleb Johnson unless he goes to that right spot. So like that's kind of what I mean by situations. I mean, there are absolutely some guys that I don't think can do it, but maybe, I mean, LaQuint Allen, not even a huge fan, but if he goes to a scheme that passes the ball a lot, he will absolutely be used and you could see him be a like RB12 in a season.
It's Dallas. That's Dallas Hyder's boy right there. LaQuint Allen. You're making him happy. Yeah, I was going to say 5. But I could make a case for 10. If I just said it, Devin Neal goes to KC. Pacheco never really fully heals from that broken leg. Boom. He could absolutely have an RB1 season, which makes him, at least for a limited time, a dynasty RB1. Yeah, you can trade for that value.
Which is all we care about.
Yeah, right. We're here to tell you when that happens and when to trade him, that kind of stuff.
Do you guys think there are any like Fugazi kind of landing spots or draft capital for, like, say we get 3 RBs in the first round or something crazy like that, or someone that that they're saying in the streets is a good spot, but secretly might not be.
I think there could be 3 first round backs actually.
Yeah, but he's saying more. Is there a landing spot that you don't like that the media is speaking about currently? Honestly, Denver scares me. I know Mike's not going to be happy with that, but if they don't draft the right guy, their system didn't produce even average running back success last year, except for with a scat back kind of player.
It's because we had average running backs.
I mean, I agree, but a good system produces average production.
But Sean Payton's going to draft the guy that fits his system.
I hope so. But
I mean, I doubt it's going to be in the first round.
It's probably not, unless Genty slips past Vegas and they can trade up. But I just that's kind of the one that I'm a little hesitant on. Like a Travion would be phenomenal there, but I don't know if
anywhere.
Yeah, I mean there are places better than others. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the one that everybody talks about that I'm a little hesitant on unless the right guy goes there.
Mike just walked off set.
Yeah, I told you he wasn't going to be happy.
We asked the wrong question. You gave the wrong answer.
Yeah.
So I think the real place to start here is not like who our RB1 is. We both have Genty. I think what we need to ask is, do you have anybody in Genty's tier?
No. No, and I don't think there's a draft. Actually, I'm not going to say that. There is not a draft situation that he will not be my one this time next week.
Right. Yeah, when it comes to landing spots, I don't really care. The only one I don't especially like is Tennessee, and I don't think they're going to take a back. So they might take a guy late, but that's the only one I guess I really don't like. What I'm really concerned about is that a guy gets drafted behind another guy, like Braylon Allen behind Breece Hall, like Charbonnet behind Ken Walker, Trey Benson behind James Conner. If that happens, that takes these guys, a lot of these guys, from second round consideration to third.
And it's gonna happen in this class. As deep and talented as it is, there's no way we get out of the top 15 RBs without at least 3 of them going to spots where, like, damn, I wish he wouldn't have gone there.
Yeah. I guess that's my answer to that question, is anywhere that there's already an established back that you don't think they'll be able to beat out.
Yeah.
All right. Who's your 2?
Time to get spicy.
Yeah.
He's been my 2 for months. Quinshon Judkins, Ohio State running back.
Wow. Okay.
I've watched him since he was a freshman at Ole Miss destroy the SEC and put Zach Evans out of NFL draft consideration, if we're going to be honest.
No, Zach Evans did that.
No, I mean, he was the lead guy. He was Devy RB1. And Quinshon Judkins said, "Hello, I'm an actual NFL RB." And just since then, the Ohio State tape isn't what he needs to be. And if he goes to an NFL system like that, then he's going to drop in my rankings. He had 42% of his rushes at Ohio State outside the tight end.
Yeah.
That's not who he is.
Right.
Work him between the tackles. He's good enough in the passing game to use him. He's not a great pass protector like his running mate at Ohio State, which is easily the best in the class. But he's good enough to suffice. But just let him get touches. Like if he can go to Dallas in the second, oh my God, I'll be so happy.
Yeah, he'd fit well in Dallas.
Yeah, or Vegas in the second. Like get him with. Oh my God, my mind just went blank.
Pete Carroll.
Thank you. Yes.
Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Chip Kelly's.
I was about to say Chip Kelly's not what I want, but Carroll is what I want.
Yeah, anybody, the Raiders are probably like the best landing spot out there to me. Anybody that goes there, I'm gonna be really, really psyched. What I don't understand is you just told me 2 or 3 reasons why Judkins wasn't as good as Travion Henderson, especially in that system.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you not have? I have Travion Henderson as mine too. So
I think Judkins is a better pure runner. I think Travion is not I actually don't think he's a really good pure runner. He has very good long speed, and he has amazing receiving skills and pass protection. But I
excellent
don't think
burst.
between the tackles he's that good of a runner if there's not an open hole. He does not have nearly the vision Judkins has. He doesn't
Really,
have nearly the patience Judkins has. No, absolutely not. And
I
he
think
honestly doesn't have the burst Judkins has in those
I.
first 5 to 10 yards.
Well, well, that's not true. So for the
Well, I mean,
size,
statistically, it is true. He
well,
outdid him
no,
in the 10
Travion's
yard
no Travion's 10-yard split was faster. You're
point
just
zero. No, it was not. Judkins was 0.01 faster
okay.
at
So
20 pounds heavier.
essentially the same. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter the size though.
Sure. Well, I mean, it
No,
does.
a
It
burst is a
absolutely does.
burst. The rate of acceleration is the same for both players. It doesn't matter the size. So
Sure.
there's no proportional variance there. It's the rate is the rate. It doesn't matter whether it's a Mack truck or a Tonka truck. It accelerates at the same amount. Now the force that it hits the object that it's moving towards is different because of the size.
Sure. And my counter, because everybody brings up the yards after contact at Ohio State. I brought it up at the beginning. Don't put him outside the tight end. That's not his strength.
All right. So my biggest thing with Travion and Henderson as rushers is Travion creates for himself and Judkins does not. And
See, I
that's
don't agree
also
with that.
and that's also why I don't have Hampton as my number 2. I mean, I think it's not hot tiki, but we're against sort of the norm, both of us, because most people have Hampton as
Yeah.
their 2.
Agreed.
Chad has Hampton as his 2.
Yeah, which is totally acceptable. I mean, there
No,
are a
it's
lot
fine.
of offenses where Hampton will be very good, but if he does not go to an offensive line that is above average, he's not going to succeed easily.
But you don't feel that way about Judkins?
Not as much, but they are similar in that aspect. I will agree with that. That would be my biggest stipulation is if he doesn't go to the best offense, I'm not thrilled. But I think he's a better pure runner
But that's
than
like
anybody in the class outside of Genty.
But that's exactly what I was saying is that he doesn't create on his own. So he needs a good offensive line where I think Travion creates way better on his own than either of those 2 players. And now you get him outside of Chip Kelly's system where each of those backs were pigeonholed and defenses knew what they were doing with those backs when they came on the field pretty much. It's just that Ohio State is so practiced and so good at what they do that it didn't matter. Right? That's not gonna work in the NFL. So both of those backs obviously are going to need to be used to their strengths. I just think Travion fits the NFL game more than any other back in this draft besides Genty.
Yeah, I think he's not as good Gibbs. That's kind of how I view him. And the bigger issue is an injury prone, which we haven't said a single word about.
Well, that's true.
The injuries are scary.
Okay.
And he needs to be a committee back. He is not a lead back.
I think most backs these days need to be a committee back.
Well, see, that's my thing is I don't think Judkins needs to be that, which is why I have him too. I think he is an alpha running back.
I see, but you have to qualify that by saying in the right system. With Travion, there's no qualifying. Travion
I don't
fits
agree with
every
that.
system.
I mean, sure, for his pass catching, absolutely.
For his pass catching and pass pro, it's going to get him on the field.
Absolutely. His pass pro is as good as I've watched since I started doing this enough to care about making rankings. His pass pro is phenomenal.
Would you agree that he's got a better floor than Judkins?
Yes, for fantasy especially.
Okay.
But these rankings for me are for the actual running back because I don't know where they're going. So I'm not making fantasy rankings right now. Travion's likely going to be my fantasy RB2.
Yeah, so for me, it's fantasy. I look at this from a fantasy perspective, and that's how I rank them.
Gotcha. I watched the tape, and I scouted the running back.
Gotcha.
That's how I did my rankings.
Okay.
Is there a spot, Austin, that kind of freaks you out for Judkins?
Tennessee is the easiest one, obviously with the backs there, but I think he's the best back of that group. But unless their O-line's drastically improved, which they spent money on, but I don't know if they actually improved it. Any of these lines, any of them that don't have a solid interior line would be less ideal for me. And that's really what I care about more for him than the tackles. They can be below average tackle group. Just let him, give him where, like, I think his vision's so good that if he can have the wall there, he can find the opening. But if the middle's getting blitzed up like most running backs, he's not going to create like some of the more quick guys like a RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey will create and miss that first tackle, whereas I don't think Judkins does that as well. I agree in that statement.
And so for both your number twos, is it a pretty clear tier break
No.
from Genty to those two? Or?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yes,
Genty
yes,
to there.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
But then
Genty's
I
all
have
by himself.
3 players in that. Well, 4 players in that tier, actually.
Okay. You have 4
Okay.
players in your second tier?
Yes.
Are you
I
guys
have
ready to move
3
on
to 4.
your-
I'm scared to put the last one. But
Come
I
on,
want to.
commit.
You guys want to say your next 2 in the tier, or just say it the rest of your tier?
Yeah, I will. So I have for me it's Travion, and then I have Hampton 3rd and Judkins 4th, but that is extremely fluid.
Yeah.
And all
Draft
I don't want to keep
capital
saying
and
landing spot
situation.
dependent this entire episode, so let's just throw it out there flat for all. This is the most landing spot dependent position. It's one of the most landing spot dependent drafts we've seen in years for these running backs. They're all specific guys. They need to go specific places.
I guess before we move on from Judkins, what's your best landing spot scenario, just for people to look forward to for the draft, Austin? Just if you want to.
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't paid enough attention to landing spots. Like,
Okay.
I mean, I saw the Ravens I'd be fine with that. Wait a year for Henry. Like, I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't love that because then I'm not getting year one production.
Yeah.
But
value.
I can live with that.
I like the Chargers.
Jamie
Yeah,
Jamie
yeah.
even mentioned the Ravens. Okay, Chargers. That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
think
would be
he
really fun.
beat out Najee in training camp, and it wouldn't even be much of a problem.
Yeah, that would be a really good one.
Interesting. Okay.
I for me, my dream landing spot, I think for Travion would be the Commanders.
Okay.
He would be a very good yin to Brian Robinson's yang. And I could see him being the 1A and Robinson being the 1B. So if you need Travion to have like a Robin to his Batman, I'd rather be that than him be the Robin to someone else's Batman. You know what I mean?
Pittsburgh for Judkins too. That name.
Yeah. But then he's got, I really like Jalen Warren. If he can stay,
he's not better than Judkins though.
Yeah.
No, he's not. But just how much he'd carve into the role is what I guess what I'd be concerned. And Gainwell is a competent NFL back that is going to get some run.
Yeah,
not that I think he's
not enough to scare me away from that.
It's a good third down back though.
Yeah.
And if he's taking third down work, you know what I mean, away from Judkins.
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest fear for him is that he's just a first and second round plotter.
Oh no, we got Chad in the chat.
I mean, it's definitely a understandable worry, but the Ole Miss tape says otherwise.
Yeah, I agree.
Really,
I do agree with that.
I would almost wash out the Ohio State tape because of his usage and the type of usage. Long as barring he doesn't go to Chip Kelly and the Raiders, then I would not be nearly as excited.
I mean, he's more Jonathan Taylor than with Ole Miss.
Yeah. I mean, he did everything.
Yeah.
He was so good. He destroyed.
Right away,
he destroyed those NFL Georgia defenses. I mean, just ate them alive.
Yeah.
All right, so 3 and 4 kind of, or the rest of your guys' tier 1,
and then
Henderson and Hampton for me is 3 and 4,
and then we're both talking about Dylan Sampson 5, right?
No,
is that no? That's not the guy. So for me, I could see Dylan Sampson being an RB1 in the NFL.
Yeah. Me too.
So for that upside, and just I love that kid. His tape was so much fun to watch. I put it on and I'm like, oh, this guy's pretty good. You know, he follows his blocks, good vision, gets a little more than he should every every carry, and then boom, he just like breaks one. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know he could do that. Just full of surprises. The contact balance is amazing. The burst, the long speed. There's not much I don't like about Dylan Sampson. My only concern is he just feels tailor-made to be that guy that gets drafted with another guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if he goes to that place where he's, we think he's going to get volume, I mean, he can be my RB2 in this class.
Cool. He's my 6, so it's not like I'm far away from it.
If he goes to the Commanders, absolutely could be my RB2.
I have Cam Scatterboo at 5.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, okay.
Kind of in his own tier.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the NFL is going to like him a lot more than people.
The analytics
right now.
It's as good as Genty. Like, he's always right beside Genty in these graphs and these charts. The long speed's obviously a question, which is why he didn't test smartly. But how many running backs in the league break 40-yard runs? There aren't many. There are plenty of guys that are successful that get those 15 to 20-yard run consistently. And his pass catching is as good as anybody in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Even the guys that were receivers that are now running backs.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs has never been a breakaway back.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of them. I mean, outside of Henry, Saquon, JT, A-Chain, you don't see a lot of that. I mean, even Bijan, I think his longest touchdown's like 35 yards. So, like, you don't see a ton of that. Scatterboo can do everything.
With two high safeties, it's
really... it doesn't happen a lot. So let me get this guy that I truly can give me 15 yards at any time. And as long as he gets the usage, he's going to get you positive yards. He just falls forward. He gets you 3 or 4 yards every time. So he's my 5 kind of by himself, but he also is really close to my 6 and 7. So I have him by himself currently, but my 6 and 7, which is Sampson and Neal, are also very close to him, to kind of bump it in that tier with him.
I actually have him 6, but it's a different tier. So I can't help but call him Scam. Because his entire game could be a scam, by the way, Scatterboo.
I mean, he ate up Texas's NFL-made defense on his own when every single person in the stadium and watching the TV knew that he was going to get the ball.
It still wasn't an NFL defense. I mean, it had some NFL players.
I mean, sure it is. It's going to have multiple, probably 4 to 5 this year, top 7.
They're going to have multiple players that won't be in the NFL, though. So that's huge.
As does almost every college outside of 2021 Georgia.
Exactly. It's a huge leap.
Jamie says I'm gonna be disappointed in Scatterboo's fantasy purposes, and I don't really see how that's possible. As good as a receiver as he is, as long as he gets the ball, I should be thrilled with it. I mean, he can run routes. It's not like he's a screen merchant. He can run NFL routes.
The upside with him is like Chris Carson that can catch passes. Which would
be a damn good back.
It's like a cross between Chris Carson and Zach Moss, kind of, because Zach Moss is a really good receiver. He just has no juice. That's his big, and he's got good violence. He just really is slow. That's my problem with Scatterboo, is that he might be really just too slow to be functional. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's fair. I mean, it's a valid concern.
My other concern is, I guess, the character stuff that comes up about him. Not that he's a bad dude, but that he's sort of like a frat guy that may not take it all that seriously. So if he does, like, I just love to hear, gym rat work ethic stuff about guys, and I haven't heard that about him. It really didn't bump him down, though. Like I said, I have him 6 because
his tape's so good.
I do believe he's got an elite trait. So he and Caleb Johnson I have in that tier as well, because I don't think that they're elite backs, but I think they're really good backs with an elite trait. So Scams is his elite violence. and Caleb is his vision, obviously, his elite vision and patience. Like that whole.
One thing about Sampson, I forgot. I wanted to make sure I
Sure,
brought it up when we said it.
Oh yeah, where do you have him, by the way?
I have him at 6.
6, okay.
Really,
okay. So we just,
5 through 8 is 5
We're
through
dim.
8 really the same tier, but I kind of have Cam by himself because I don't think I'm going to drop him from 5, as barring the NFL believes in him.
Mm.
But Dylan Sampson had 36 opportunities on 3rd or 4th and short last year, and he converted on 33 of them. That is absurd.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's absurd.
That's really good.
So an NFL team's going to love that. They're going to eat that up.
Mike, what you got for us in this tier, guys?
I was actually going to share Chad's tiers
okay.
and kind of catch up. So Chad's secure, obviously, but he still shared his tiers with us. So his tier 1 was Genty and Hampton in tier 1. And then tier 2 at 3 is Caleb Johnson, and 4, Travion Henderson. So Chad's question to you is, why do you all hate Caleb Johnson so much?
He's slow.
Well, that's not true. He's slow the first 15 yards.
Yes, that's a problem.
He's actually really fast if he can get 25 yards to build up to it.
But we were just talking about how that doesn't happen in the NFL unless you're Saquon or Derrick Henry.
Well, they're not slow to start either.
Well, maybe Caleb Johnson's the next Derrick Henry.
Oh my God, stop.
I'm just here to defend Chad.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't have that kind of seriously. Just to explain it to you, Mike, since you don't know who Caleb Johnson is.
Oh, I know he played for Iowa.
He's big, and but he's not Derrick Henry big, and he's he actually doesn't use his size in any way near the way Derrick Henry does. So it's kind of my problem with him is he's just sort of like the system back.
Yeah, he's outside zone back.
Yeah, if he doesn't go to the right place that commits to using him, and it's gotta all fall right for him. But if it does, you're gonna have a really good fantasy back.
Yeah,
and a lot of people won't understand this part of it. So it's gonna be really important to tune in to us on Saturday morning. little selfless shameless self-promotion. Saturday morning, 4:26. We're gonna be doing a live mock draft to analyze some of these landing spots from days 1 and 2. It's going to be really important for you to understand where players like Scadaboo and Caleb Johnson go.
I mean, really all of them outside the top 2 or 3, 4 guys. They're all so landing spot dependent for their top tier success.
This is just a question for you guys, as in to understand your guys' process better as front office fantasy gurus.
That's right.
How much is, say hypothetically, Travion goes in the 2nd, but Judkins goes in the 3rd, and say landing spot is good for both. Does that change a whole lot for you guys, or is there a certain cutoff point for certain rounds, or how do you all judge that?
Day 2, no. So 2nd and 3rd round, nah, that's fine. That's the top, 80 pick roughly? 90 pick, something like that. That's fine. When you start going from 2nd to 4th round, yes, I'm gonna pay more attention, because that means every team passed them pretty much 3 times.
Yeah, with running back, I agree. With wide receiver, it's way different. With running back, with wide receiver, 3rd round, it's who kind of knows. It's sort of up in the air.
It's top 50 for receivers, really.
Yeah. So after 3rd round,
after 50, I'm way more hesitant, and the statistics show that. I think it's 16% for picks 51 and after success rate, which top 24 receiver on a season.
Yeah.
So that's not good at all.
Yeah. So with running back, yeah, and really that makes sense too, because a late 2nd round wide receiver, I'm getting a little worried.
Yep.
Running back, 3rd round running back is no problem. That's a priority player for that team.
Yeah.
If there's a 3rd round.
Yeah, with that position, as we've seen, what was it, $6 million was the biggest a running back got paid this offseason? Minus minus a re-sign. I think it was $6 million a year.
Yeah.
So I mean, the teams don't value them unless they're elite.
Yeah.
So
a
3rd round pick says that, hey, we like this guy, we believe in him.
I mean, Chad doesn't want us to talk about Kenneth Gainwell, but we're going to anyway.
Why?
Because, well,
This is rookies, not bad running backs.
Because he's a Super Bowl champion.
well, no, my point was just going to be that
He was a late third, wasn't he?
no, he's 5th.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, it was
I
really
think I
late.
wanted him to be a third, maybe.
Yeah, he was valuable enough to be on the field instead of Saquon Barkley at times where fans didn't really want that to happen, yet the team wasn't willing to pay him and let him just walk. So
yeah,
guys of that talent level. Although Gainwell, honestly, in this draft would be like 15th or 16th for me.
When he was coming out, you're going a little crazy for that. I was
He
going
did
to
fall.
say 10 to 12
He did
pre-draft.
fall. No, there's guys.
Yeah.
No, there's 10 guys. I like way
he's
better.
in that RJ Harvey, Giddens, LaQuint Allen area for me.
He's firmly behind the first 2 guys you said for me.
That's
just
fine.
because of the juice factor. He's a skilled player that just doesn't have any.
I mean, he had juice coming out, absolutely. It just never translated to the league.
Yeah, he's just not got a huge burst. He's, like I said, he's a skilled player. He can do things.
So do you guys mind just recapping your first 2 tiers for the listeners, and then we can move on to, I know we've kind of dabbled in tier 3 a little bit, but maybe finish out tier 3 after that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Austin.
Oh, all right. Tier 1 by himself is Genty, and then tier 2 is Judkins, Henderson, and Hampton. And then I'll go ahead and say tier 3 because we've already talked about most of them. 5, I have Scadaboo. 6, Dylan Sampson. 7, Devin Neal. And 8, Caleb Johnson.
Okay. Jesse?
Right. So for me, I have Genty tier 1. Tier 2 is Travion, O'Marin Hampton 3, Judkins, and Dylan Sampson. They're all in that same tier. And then tier 3 for me is Scadaboo 6, Caleb Johnson 7.
Okay. Whereas I guess the only one we really haven't discussed yet is Devin Neal. That's who Austin talked about. So
yeah, why do you hate Devin Neal?
Yeah. Why do you hate Devin Neal?
I have Devin Neal in the next tier with those 2 other guys we just talked about. But no, he doesn't. We're just talking about juice. I mean, yeah, he actually does have really good.
I was about to say, whoa.
He does have short area quickness. He does have some nice burst and acceleration. The long speed, the hands are fine. He's not going to be a weapon in the receiving game. So just lowers the ceiling a little. I'm not low on Devin Neal. I love him. He's another guy though. He's like a lower tier Dylan Sampson. I really like him, but just something tells me he's going to be taken to be paired with another back.
I mean, as are pretty much every one of these guys. That's the thing. Like in the league now, they're all going to be paired with somebody else.
And
it's are they good enough to outdo who's in there?
Yes. And I look at Devin. I think you're right. And then I look at Devin Neal and I'm like, well, nah, I just don't think he's going to be the guy that beats out the other guy. Whereas I think Dylan Sampson could be.
Okay. All right, Austin, defend yourself. Why is Devin Neal awesome?
Just a pure runner. I mean, he's a great running back. I think he's a better Devin Singletary. So I think there would be years and years from now where you see he's just the lead back in an offense that we didn't think he'd be the lead back in the offense for. He's not flashy. He's not phenomenal, but he is pretty damn good. He consistently put up high-end numbers year after year from a freshman on. He should have come out last year, and we had been talking about him in our top 3 or 4 last year, but he came out in this ridiculous class, and it's likely going to hurt his stock and, unfortunately, his money.
Gotcha. So Chad had a Neal in his tier 4 at RB10, but other guys that he had in his tier 3 were RJ Harvey, who he has at 5, and Tootin at 9.
Whoa!
So what do you guys think about those 2 guys?
All right. So I'm just there's a perfect opportunity to tease a future segment that we were talking about today. We are going to be playing a game in the future that's called
Oh,
Why Chad Was Wrong. Okay. Why Chad was wrong about bootin' tootin'.
a rootin' tootin'.
Yeah, his tape was fun as hell, man. That guy's electric. He's awesome to watch run around the outside and then down the rest of the field. It's amazing. Guy's fast as hell. He's got acceleration. He's actually got some pretty good strength and finishes his runs, and I like that part of his game. But he can't hold on to the ball. He had 9 fumbles last year.
He had 4 in the last 4 games.
It's insane. You
Woof.
can't. That's teams do care about that shit. And the other thing is, he doesn't run between the tackles. Like he bounces everything.
No.
Everything he bounces. So like he's got a lot of work to become an NFL back.
Yeah. I mean, you've brought up Juice, and the 2 names that he said,
Sure.
RJ Harvey and Bashal
Yeah.
Tootin, are Juice. They're the definition of it in this class.
Absolutely. I mean,
Um,
I hate to accuse somebody on our own podcast of this, but that's like highlight watching.
it honestly,
Oh,
like
man.
with Tootin, it feels like it is. With RJ Harvey, I can see it, but it was
Yeah,
just really
Harvey a lot
it was inconsistent tape for me. A lot of good, and then a lot of like, what is this? Like, what are you
Mhm.
doing? But he has a ton of juice. Like that, I'm gonna keep using Jesse's word now that he's used it. He's got a ton of it. Like he
Yeah.
is electric.
Yeah. So that's my next player is RJ Harvey. I have him at 8.
So I have him at 9. So
All right. And then I have Devin Neal at 9.
can't believe you hate him that much.
There's a lot of good backs right there. It's
There
hard
are,
to
man.
say.
It's a
Like,
mess. It's a
Devin
mess.
Neal could definitely be like 5. You
Yeah.
know, it could happen if he goes the right place.
Yeah. After
But-
4, it's really just a mess for me. Like
But
after the top 4.
I'm gonna love the guys, the 2 to 3 guys that go in the first round, and then the 2 to 3 other guys that go high in the second round. Those are going to be the guys that I love in this draft. And we'll see who they are. Yeah, and then the other player I have in that tier is Giddens as my 10, DJ Giddens, and he's the other player with juice.
Yeah.
So
I have Giddens at 10 as well.
electric, but again, sort of the same as Harvey, where are you going, buddy?
Yeah. I
You
just
know?
don't think he's as good, to be
Yeah,
honest.
he misses cutbacks. His vision isn't all that great, but shoot, you get that guy going, and
Chad brings up an interesting point. He said, he's in our chat, if you're not chasing upside at RB9, what are you doing? And that's totally valid. Hence why RJ Harvey's my RB9.
yeah,
But you said 5. So that would be the difference there. And in this class, in some classes, 5.
I think he's talking about Tootin there.
oh, Tootin, okay,
Tootin at 9.
okay. I mean,
sure.
I think I like a combination of some upside and some kind of floor.
With this class, RB9 is likely a second-round rookie pick. I don't really like taking Tootin there when I think there are better players. In a lot of classes, 9's a mid-third. And that point, heck yeah, mid-third,
Yeah.
take all the upside, swing for the fences. But this class is so good, man. Our rookie drafts could easily see 10, 11, 12 guys if the board falls properly, going in the top 2 rounds.
Just to explain what's going on with Chad, by the way, he's sick as hell. Not
Yeah,
able
he
to
is.
get
He
out
sounds
of bed.
terrible. We
Not
didn't want to do
able
that
to
at
get
all.
out of bed.
No one wants to hear him right now.
Yeah,
No,
so
I
but
Barely,
he's in the
barely
chat.
want to read him, but yeah.
Yeah.
That might be his problem. Maybe he did this while he was sick.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that, because I think that maybe like too much NyQuil. He said too much NyQuil and melatonin had him hungover, and that's what maybe.
Yeah,
when
he did skip from 9 to 11 when he got his top
we
10.
We figured it out, guys. We
he's,
figured it out.
Yeah, he's struggling.
I mean, players have fixed fumbling issues in the league. Yes, we know Tiki Barber. We know the whole Tiki Barber story.
Are there any landing spots? I know we talked about a bunch of running backs at this point, like pretty much top 10, if not more. But are there any other landing spots for anyone else, or is it just kind of general or anyone specific?
I mean, not really. Just get them to spots that don't have a stud. I guess is the first statement.
Yeah, the Patriots are interesting.
Yeah.
So where are the avoid places for you guys? I guess
There aren't. It's just
Atlanta.
yeah,
okay.
Atlanta. Yeah, that makes sense.
There
The
aren't
Jets,
unless it's behind somebody. Yeah, right.
The Jets. Gosh, I would
The
hate that so
Lions.
much for Brees. That would
Lions,
so,
Seahawks.
which the Jets are probably going to take a running back, and it's going to suck. But we just got to pray it's day 3.
yeah.
Low key, the Eagles aren't the worst landing spot because they got Shipley and the rotting husk of AJ Dillon.
Hey, he's got great calves.
Yeah, didn't he name? Is he the guy that named him?
I don't remember now. Anymore.
I think it's Quadzilla.
That was so long. I was gonna say Quadzilla, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think that was him.
Yeah, nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I do like Harvey and Giddens though. Both get them some coaching and a little time in the league, and they could turn into really good backs. Like, I didn't give James Cook enough credit coming out that he could learn things, get better at things, which he did. I didn't like his contact balance or his vision, and he improved both of those things. So these guys could easily improve the things that they're crappy at. Same with Tootin, though. I mean, Chad does make a good point. If that guy hits, he could be Alvin Kamara, but faster.
That's a very crazy statement, but I'll let you make
I'll
it.
allow it.
I'll let you make
I'll
it.
allow it.
I do not endorse said statement.
That's because Austin hates the Saints. So.
No,
he could be.
Kamara's amazing.
He's great for fantasy.
Okay, he could be. He's more like a chain, to be honest with you, because he's more straight line speed.
Yeah, just not as good.
Yeah.
No, not nearly.
Or as fast.
All right. Can each of you name an RB that I have not heard of that you might be higher on than consensus or than most from what you've heard?
I have
heard of all the ones so far, so we're good.
You know LaQuint Allen? I know we said at the beginning, but do you know who he is?
I do not. No, I don't.
Okay.
Tell me about LaQuint Allen.
Where do you have LaQuint?
12.
Okay, I have him 16, but
that's fair. I mean,
that's a kind of the same tier.
Yeah, my tier is 12 through 17, so he's at the top of that tier for me.
Where's he from? Why do you like him?
Syracuse. One, he's a good running back. He actually showed that he can put up 1,000 yards in college, which is important. But a ridiculously good receiving back. Excellent in space, good hands, pretty good pass blocking, especially being he is a receiving back. That's obviously important. But he's a converted receiver. So he's an electric player to me. I was going to go lower, but I wanted to make sure you'd heard of him first. But he's just somebody
I think I have now. I think I have heard about him. I just forgot his name because I heard converted receiver quite a bit, but that's the one. Okay. Yeah, what about you, Jesse?
Yeah, the guy I'm probably highest on in the entire pod, I think, and you've probably heard of the last name, but maybe not the first name, would be Trevor Etienne.
Yeah, his brother.
Yeah, okay, you have heard of the brother. Okay.
Yeah.
But I have him at 12.
Oh.
So yeah, I know that's probably a little spicy, but it's definitely like 6th tier or whatever. I have 12 through 19. Is a tier really for me, and they're all different kinds of backs, but they all have enough of a deficiency that it's a long shot for them to make it as a lead back. I like Trevor because I think he does a lot of things really, really well. And I think he gets a shitty shake in this draft class. He tested well. He's a good running back. If you look at his tape 2 years ago, is really better than his tape last year. But I think that's also a function of the offense. I don't know exactly what was going on. He definitely didn't look like the same guy. So he may have been playing with an injury. I didn't read anything about that, but he didn't look like the same guy. But he's still got short area quickness, good speed, good burst. He's not quite the athlete that his brother is, but I think he's actually a better, like, pure running back than Travis.
Yeah, I think Travis has actually turned more into him, if that makes sense. I think Travis has turned more into a volume runner in the league, whereas in college he was so electric. He was a one cut and go player, where now I feel like Travis looks more like Trevor, which is a volume back who can succeed with the right touches because he is a solid player. I have him at 17, but I also honestly think that he could easily be in that top 12 rankings if the landing spots go right.
All right. So with your guys, since your tiers kind of like so big after 12, is what's going to be the deciding factor there? Again, going back to because the draft is coming up next week. Is it going to be draft capital or is it going to be landing spot?
Yeah, it's
a
both.
mix.
Okay.
So let's say
This really depends on the player.
Jaden Blue is a guy that I have in this tier. Maybe that's a guy that you haven't heard of, Mike.
I do. Texas. He's
okay.
Down. Yeah. No, got it.
Horns down, he says. Really like pure receiving back. So if he goes to the Chiefs, say on day 3 or above, I'm going to be very interested. There's a lot of situations he could go to. He could get drafted at the end of day 4. There's no day 4. He at the end of day 3. And I wouldn't be so interested in him, if he doesn't go to the right spot. But yeah, it's all these guys that you think could be good at something. If they go to a place that needs that thing and is a good fit and a good team, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry, I dropped everything earlier. My phone, everything. So like I had to reconfigure.
You're good. Hey, Nathan's got a question in the chat. He said, "Where are we on Damian Martinez and Ollie Gordon?"
I have Damian at 11, actually.
Oh, okay.
In a tier of his own.
Yeah,
actually,
we didn't bring him up, but he's in the same tier for me as RJ Harvey and Giddens.
You could convince me to put him in that tier, but then I look at him compared to Devin Neal, who I have in that tier, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, that's why you have Neal in the wrong tier. That's your problem.
I'd rather have Devin Neal than that's why I have.
What I'm saying,
Davey. That's why I have Martinez in a different tier, and 2 or 3 spots lower. So I like Martinez.
Yeah, he's a very solid running back. I think the NFL is definitely going to like him, and he improved every year. He looked better and better as it went, and even this year he looked better and better as the season went.
The people who like him will compare him to former lead backs in the league. Yeah. And the people that don't like him will compare him to big guys that busted.
Yeah. And he'll most likely fall somewhere in between that, if we're going to be honest. But that is his range of outcomes. David Montgomery or every other big.
Or Brandon Jacobs.
Way back. Yeah.
I took his sort of who he reminds me of. Chad's going to have a problem with that because every time I bring up any Giants player.
Ollie Gordon is
not on my list.
He's 18 for me, but it's just because as a junior he looked so much better. I don't really know what happened this year, but he did not look good this year. I'm hoping it was injury. The O-line was atrocious, but I don't know how you run for, I think it was 1,700 yards last year. To what he did this year. Was it 800, I think?
I don't think.
And he played every game?
I don't think the tape is all that much different as far as how he moves. Just the offense is different.
Well, I don't know because I saw a stat, and I think last year it was an average of like either 2.8 or 3.2 yards before contact, whereas this year it was like 0.88.
Yeah.
So you got to have
huge difference.
That's ginormous. I mean, that's not his fault.
No, it's not
his fault.
Yeah, agreed. And he has he's dead in the water. Like if he does not have that 2.8 yards, he's dead in the water. There's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, he doesn't create at the line of scrimmage at all.
I don't want a running back like that. I don't think he doesn't. Padlow isn't low enough for the type of player he is. He doesn't generate the kind of power for the player he is. Like, he's not Scatterboo. You know what I mean?
No,
And that's
not at all.
no, but that's who he would need to be for me to have interest in him.
Well, he doesn't have the wiggle nearly that Scatterboo does.
But he also doesn't have the power. That's what I'm saying. Like,
True.
at base level, a player his size needs to be.
And it's still crazy though. He looked really good 2 years ago. I guess technically that is. I mean, the breakaway is there. He has the breakaway speed,
He'll never,
especially for that size.
but he'll never get to it.
I mean, if he goes to Philly, Philly as the backup would be a great spot for him. With that line,
don't curse me with that shit.
I would love it for you too. Just so as much shit as your head's so big, we need something to just kind of knock it down a tier or two. So y'all get drafting Ollie Gordon in the 5th would be that perfect piece.
I'll tell you, it's the best thing that could ever happen to that young man. So maybe for his sake, maybe he's a nice guy, and I just want good things.
I mean, it would be a really good spot for him, in my opinion.
It would, for him personally. Let's see.
There's a lot of other names that are interesting, to be honest.
I was going to say, I feel like we're really deep at this point, but is there anybody else that really?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I still like
to talk about.
So along the Etienne lines, I still like Donovan Edwards. I think he's a.
Oh my God, no!
All right, look at his tape 2 years ago; it was pretty good.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Do you want us to talk about Ollie Gordon needing space? Donovan Edwards needs a truckload hole for him to find it and then run through it.
At least he's got receiving skills.
No, what he's got is to cover NCAA football, and that's it.
Let's talk about Rutgers' own Kyle.
There you go. There's a good name.
I went and watched the tape on him after Dallas brought him up on our mock draft, and I hadn't before that. And I like this kid.
Yeah,
he's
not as good Damian Martinez. That's kind of exactly how I view him.
Okay, I think he's faster,
but he's not as good
in space. He's faster. Yeah, you're right. He's not as good of a running back. He's pretty raw.
Yeah, but he's fun.
Good tools there. Yeah,
yeah.
I could see him going late, and after. I can see him going late, and teams like whoever takes him likes him in camp, and just eventually carves himself out a role. I can see that happening. Let's see.
I like Jarquez Hunter, and I know that's a name that yucks in the Devy community. But
that's
just
a deep one.
It is. It is a day 3 guy for sure, but just a productive runner. Every year he was there. I wish he would have left Auburn, but for some reason he loved it, and maybe he loved college. I guess it's fun. But he's a productive runner. He can do everything. He looks pretty good doing it all. But I mean, he's definitely a day 3 guy, but somebody you can watch out for if he can get the touches.
All right, 3 more names we should bring up real quick are Brashard Smith, Jordan James.
Yes, sir.
Rocket Sanders.
No, sir.
So what happened with Rocket?
Honestly, I don't know, because I loved him I guess now his freshman year, I think that was. Honestly, I don't know if the injury just sapped him. And he never, but man, he lost that wiggle through the hole. Yeah, like what happened?
Yeah,
because he wasn't slow. Now he wasn't the fastest. That his 10-yard split would have been bad even when he was healthy.
It felt like it was an ironic nickname right from the start.
But you watch early on, it didn't feel like that. His freshman, I think it's his freshman tape. Man, he was electric. He didn't need much of a hole.
Yeah.
And he was gone. And I mean, he did get hurt, but I'm out on him totally. He's not in my top 25.
All right. Brashard Smith. We talked about him. Good receiving skills.
Yeah. Great receiving skills. He's 15 for me. I think if he can, like a New England opposite of Stevenson, would be awesome.
Jordan James.
Yeah, on my list. He's 22, but it's not really a diss to him. It's kind of, I like everybody in this area the same. He just kind of fell towards the bottom of it. Size is kind of my biggest issue with him. It's kind of why he's towards the bottom. I think he's only like 5'8", 204 or something like that. He's not a big guy.
Small school too, right?
Well, no, it went to Oregon.
Oh, okay.
So definitely not that. But he's a good running back. It's just like a lot of these guys. They're competent running backs. This class is absurd. It's
He's the Kyle Williams of running backs to me. Like Kyle Williams is the wide receiver version of him to me.
I feel like that's an insult, but I really like Kyle Williams, so I'm trying not to take it as an insult.
I don't mean it as an insult. I just mean, like undervalued guy, Pacific Northwest.
That's fair.
Solid player, but not really great at anything.
Okay. Montrell Johnson is a name from Florida. Another just a good running back, plain and simple. He'll be a committee guy, but just a solid runner. Not great in the receiving work, but I did like his tape. He was a fun watch.
How many of these guys do we think are going to end up as first round rookie picks?
Ooh. Are we going to say like an average NFL board? Like it's not going to go perfect, but just an average, like, we get 2 or 3 of our top guys go to bad spots, 2 or 3 go to what we want. Like, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I feel safe with 4, and I could see up to 7 if
7,
quarterback.
huh?
I mean, up to it if quarterbacks and receivers don't go where we like, which you'll have some drafts where the receivers go, but I could see up to 7. Like I could see Scattaboo, Sampson, and Neal, and Caleb Johnson for that matter, all sneaking into the first, depending on where they go.
I think there's a whole Caleb Johnson hive out there.
Absolutely.
He could, even if he doesn't go to the best landing spot or draft capital, still could go in the first.
Which would be awesome for leagues I'm in.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, whereas I love Dylan Sampson, but if it doesn't work out for him, he's going to drop,
Yeah, for sure.
You got to take the lesson from Trey Benson. We all really like Trey Benson, but he didn't play, and his value is in the tank right now.
Yeah. Especially with Connor getting re-signed.
If Dylan, yeah, right, exactly. If Dylan Sampson goes to Houston, behind Mixon, it could be the same thing. Yeah. It could be very tempting to have Dylan Sampson.
God, it's going to be so tempting.
But he could just not play for his whole first year.
Yeah. That sounds terrible. Like that's going to be so hard for me not to take it like the 202 every time.
I was about to say that's not really a high second round pick. He's blocked.
That feels so realistic. I'm really mad at you for bringing that to that atmosphere.
All right, guys. Well, we'll wrap it up a little bit. I got a couple questions for you since we're coming in on the draft. We're a week away, right? So, favorite fantasy player and landing spot. Any position, irrelevant. So it could be a wide receiver, it could be a tight end. Doesn't really matter what round they're taking. But we won't factor that in anyways. But what's a favorite player landing spot combo that
Tyler Warren 5 to Jacksonville Jaguars?
Oh,
that's easy for me. Besides Genty to the Raiders, which I think that's everybody's. Like everybody's Zeke to the Cowboys.
Yeah, which it happened.
Such a perfect fit. Besides that, for me, it's the Eagles trade up and get Loveland.
Why would you pick? You are such a homer. I specifically and purposefully didn't pick Tet to the Panthers, which would be my real one. I want the Eagles to trade up and take.
Well, then he asked me my favorite.
I mean, I want the Broncos to get Genty.
You should have said your favorite if that was your favorite, dude.
I'll stick Homer.
So bad.
What? I want Genty, Tet, one of the either Loveland or one of the other, or what's the other guy? Oh gosh, no, can't.
I'd like to see Loveland, Tyler Warren. I'd like to see Loveland or Warren go to Denver.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, what's y'all's biggest fear for a player like that he's going to go?
Genty to the Raiders, because I just hate the Raiders so much. Honestly, I will love it from their team building perspective because I don't think the rest of their team's that good.
I think it would make them good.
I actually think it fits really well.
I think it would make them pretty good.
No,
you don't need to have an elite.
Who are they throwing to? Yeah, let's stack the box. We'll do.
Jacoby and Myers, Brock Bowers.
Bowers. Okay.
Oh yeah, you forgot about Bowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about wide receivers, but yeah.
For me, it would be Tyler Warren to the Colts, man. I just so don't want to see that happen.
That's really fair.
It would be it's going to be a heartbreaker.
Hey Jesse, can you highlight that very bottom comment for me?
No,
please.
Nathan,
please.
it's okay. I'm leading it off, Sin. Nathan.
Oh, you are the host.
Can we not talk about the Eagles for one episode?
No,
no, it's impossible.
It is truly impossible.
Jesse will never miss unless Jesse's sick.
Your Super Bowl champions.
God almighty. So sick of it.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else before we move on to what we watched all week?
I was gonna say there are trade rumors obviously about Goddard, but I've heard trade rumors for Andrews now.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's very possible, maybe probable. I think it's above a 50% chance that both of those guys get traded or released.
Nice.
Goddard has to take a pay cut or he will not play for the Eagles.
Yeah. Okay. I dig it.
They've already started talking about him, the coach and the GM, in past tense. Goddard was a great player for us.
Oh hell yeah! I'll take him for a 4th down in Carolina. That sounds nice.
They're trying to trade him for a 4th.
Oh look right on you, baby.
I'll take him in Denver for a 4th. Ingram can't block.
Man, both of those would be great landing spots for fantasy. I would hate to lose him on the Eagles, but
that's why I was curious, Jesse. You said you want one of the tight ends to go to Denver. I don't really love that. With Ingram there. I mean, they just paid him.
Oh shit! I forgot about Evan Ingram. You're right.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay, I was like, I mean, the receiver, I'm all for. I don't really want them to draft Tet because their role is so similar to Sutton.
Yeah,
I think an avenue to Tet's success in the league is a Sutton type player. But I would love for them, like a Golden would be awesome.
Golden would be good for their offense.
I
think they need.
He's gonna. You ain't gonna get a chance.
I know. I don't want to spend the first.
They need an electric back.
I'd rather take a running back.
I'd like to see Giddens or Neal there. I think both of those
Neal would be fun.
Both of those guys in different ways, I think, would fit really well.
Neal reminds me a lot of Javonte before injury.
That's fair. I think the Javonte was more physical. Neal's got the size, but he doesn't use it in that way.
Yeah.
Neal reminds me more of Monty in college. Like if you remember, David Montgomery wasn't real. Was it Oklahoma?
No, Iowa State.
Iowa State. He wasn't real fond of contact.
No, he wasn't.
He thought he was like this elusive, scatty back kind of guy. And it wasn't until he got to the NFL, he was like, oh, yeah, I'm a big dude. Like some coach got in his ear and told him to run straight ahead at that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's kind of what Neal reminds me a little bit, but not like it. At times it was like, why the hell didn't Montgomery just put his head down and plow through that guy? Where Neal will do that. Like I don't see him avoiding contact, but I would like to see him more physical.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm sorry, but David Montgomery has the feet of Saquon Barkley.
That's the
vision of Le'Veon
I'm glad
Bell,
you brought it
the
up.
Strength of Ezekiel Elliott, and the athleticism of Sony Michel.
Yeah,
my goodness.
That was 2018 draft cycle, isn't that right?
Love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Shit, I don't even remember where was he first in the NFL?
Chicago.
The Bears.
Bears. That's right. Yeah. Well, they couldn't use anybody right there. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. Although he was pretty good with them.
Yeah,
he was.
He
was good.
Good enough. All right, guys. What are you watching this week, or what did you watch?
First season of Pokemon.
Hey,
let's go.
What'd you think?
It's really good. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. Ash's voice reminds me of Rudolph from the old claymation.
You know a girl does his voice, right?
No, I didn't. But that makes sense. It's funny how much of a dumbass he is and how much they make fun of him for it in the beginning. And my favorite character is Coughing.
That's an awesome one.
Nice.
He's so good.
Okay. Good. Man, look at you, nerd.
I love it.
I love it.
I finished Beast Games. That was amazing.
That was pretty good.
I couldn't.
There's a whole bunch of fallout from that.
Was there
Like about living conditions and
really?
yeah.
I'll have to read
I
up
haven't
on
watched a lot of it, and I don't care that much. Like it was enjoyable to watch, but
really?
I guess until like Amazon came on board, like the living conditions weren't super great, and sleeping conditions weren't that great.
Yikes.
So,
Well, I
yeah.
did see they were like sleeping outside and shit a lot.
Yeah,
It was a little weird.
They were random.
But yeah, in the end, man, like he read her like a book. I did not think that she was going to give that shit away, but she did.
Yeah,
It was amazing. It was a really good show.
It was a good show. What about you, Austin?
I was trying to think. Honestly, I don't think I've watched anything new. I did. Oh, I lied. I watched the new Captain America last night. I just finally watched it. I thought it was good. It got a ton of hate. It got a ton of hate.
Wait, what was
Really?
it?
New Captain America, New World Order.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Like I enjoyed it.
I have tickets next week to see the Thunderbolts, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, cool.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah,
I think that'll be fun.
New,
as long as it's not too goofy.
New Fantastic Four trailer dropped, and I'm not gonna lie, my expectations might be a little high for that one.
There has never been a good Fantastic Four movie.
What?
It looks good.
Which one did you like?
Jessica Alba? I mean, anything with her in it's a good start. So
she's so hot.
What, like Seventh Heaven?
Yeah.
Did we just talk about this last week?
I'm not quite going that far back. I don't.
Yeah, that's like illegal ages.
Well, for you, that was right when you grew up, though, Mike. That was y'all. I think y'all are about the same age.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Actually.
Mike, you missed last week. We talked about the dad on Seventh Heaven. There's a doc out on him. He likes to show. Yeah, he likes to show his goods to underage girls.
Nice, good for him. I'm just kidding. I don't support that at all. I finished Daredevil: Born Again, which actually Marvel's kind of getting their shit together with shows. It was really good.
Okay.
One dude gets his face ripped in half, and lots of cussing. Lots of
the
blood.
specter of Ben Affleck playing.
No, you have to watch the Daredevil show that was on Netflix a couple years ago. So this is a continuation of that. There were 3 seasons of that, I think. Really well done.
Daredevil feels more like a DC character to me, so I've never.
It does for sure.
He's in there with the Punisher too. So
again, another character that should be DC.
If you like that, and that guy, he's a badass. He kind of reminds me of my brother. Actually, he's got long hair in one of the episodes, and I sent it to my brother, and he looks just like my brother. It's kind of creepy. He's got like the John Wick vibe going, but very good show. Yeah. Very good show. And I'm So that was
what was the as long as Thunderbolts doesn't go like the whole like Suicide Squad route where it's just cartoonish a bit, like goofy.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think so, because I think the villain's going to be actually really good.
They have to take the
villain's kind of a hero, and then he has a villain dark side. So it's the Void. It looks pretty legit. I don't know it, but
when they win in the end, it has to be because of their awesomeness and not because they bumbled around into it.
I got you.
Because if that happens, I'll hate it.
Yeah, you can only handle so much of you when you're watching the show. That's what you're saying.
Hey, man. Charmed life. What can I tell you?
That's right.
Yeah. Gotcha.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, I don't know how to do this, Jesse. I don't know how to close this out. I don't know what to do with my hands. So you better close this out.
This has been the front office.
Peace.
See ya.